Hello, welcome to Spread Book Joy. Today I'm reviewing Once Upon a Fever by Angharrad Walker. If you're new to the channel, I'm Jack. I'm a qualified primary school teacher who reviews great books for children for home or school, but I also like to talk about my own reading on the channel, which you can see in some of my other videos. Today I want to review this wonderful middle grade book, which is published by Chicken House. Chicken House books are one of my favourite publishers, and I do have some videos on some of their books and actually a little video on them. I would highly recommend anything that they put out. I can guarantee you it's going to be high quality and engaging. I was originally sent this proof copy to review for Just Imagine, which is a wonderful website which has critical reviews of children's literature for professionals in the education sector, and I would highly recommend, if you are a teacher, to go over to them. They also are giving away free book club resources for loads and loads of books. You sign up for them and they've got some fantastic in-depth high quality book club resources for you to run engaging and educational and wonderful book clubs with high quality text. So I'm going to pop the link to them in the description box below, along with the original link to the review for this book. I am allowed to put reviews for their books on my own social media, and in this case I'm going to talk about my enjoyment of the book because the reviews I do for them are critical and objective. This is going to talk about my feelings towards the book a bit more. So it's set in an alternative version of London called Lundain, L-U-N-D-A-I-N, and there are very obvious parallels here to draw between Philip Pullman's world of his dark materials and the alternative Oxford and things like that. So I'm going to say yes, those parallels are fair. They're fair to make those parallels. This is a world where it felt very Victorian Gothic in nature. It's quite dark. There has been an event where lots of people have started to get sick, and they call that event the turn, and after the turn people became ill with quite a range of magical, fantastical diseases. So our two main characters are two sisters, Annie and Peyton Dark, and their father Neil Dark is a methic. So they came to Lundain and they're living in St Jude's Hospital ever since their mother became sick with a thing called water disease or water sickness, and she's being held suspended in animation in a water tank in a coma whilst her father works on finding a cure for her, because it's incurable and the disease will advance if she's awakened. So she's sort of kept in this kind of suspended state while their father hunts for a cure. So they've been in the hospital for a number of years at the start of this book. Peyton is the eldest. She's logical. She is someone who wants to be a methic like her father when she grows up. She has a mission because she really wants to cure her mother's illness. Annie is much more adventurous and outgoing and emotional, and actually we discover that Annie is being given medicine to suppress her emotions because the methics believe that it's strong emotion that's got out of control that is causing these strange diseases. So the diseases are all wild and strange and kind of very magical in its sort of fantastical diseases, such as spark breath, which is if you get too angry and your heat builds up inside you and you can cause fires. So that's the kind of sort of diseases that we're looking at. At the start of the book, the two girls were exploring an abandoned part of St Jude's. Since they've been in Lundain, they've not been outside of the hospital. Their whole lives have been spent in there, and you get the impression that since the turn, the world has become quite a dangerous place. Things are scarce, and things like nature and animals, for some reason that's not quite explained yet, are no longer deemed safe. Some animals are, some plants are, but the majority of nature is closed off. So we hear about a place called Hyde Gardens. So the place names are very similar to London place names, but Hyde Gardens is this huge wilderness area within the middle of Lundain, and it's been closed off and no one goes in there. These things aren't explained necessarily, but I feel that this is the first book in a series, a planned series, and I feel that it will be explained. This is a world that's run by guilds, and the guilds of finance and medicine since the turn have been the two main guilds. Lots of other guilds existed before. We only hear about one of them, I think, and they've all sort of been disbanded since. Medicine and finance are the ways that the world is run. There was a guild called the Wilders, and they clearly looked after animals and plants, but they are no longer around. At the start of the book, the girls were investigating an abandoned section of the hospital, and Annie discovers a boy being kept locked room, and he has golden fingers, so he has some sort of strange fantastical disease, but no one knows he's there. And what she discovers from him and what she finds out means that not only this boy, but any child who is emotional like herself or showing signs of disease is in extreme danger. So again, there are parallels with his Dark Materials, where the world that these children think they know is not quite as straightforward. The adults aren't quite as black and white, and things that they're being told, because they've only been brought up by methics in this hospital, are not as cut and dried as they seem. And when Annie discovers these things, she has to escape the hospital, and she ends up out in London, and she discovers a completely different side to everything. And I love this book. I thought the writing was wonderful, the world building was really rich. I really would like to look, I'm really looking forward to reading the next part in the story, because lots of the world building clearly is going to be developed, and this world is going to get bigger and richer, and some of the history of this world is going to come out. There's clearly reasons for everything and every world building choice that was made, but we weren't let into them all yet. And I love that. I like the fact that this is not assuming that everything needs to be explained straight away, but peeling back layers and layers of this world alongside the characters. And I really found that fascinating. Yeah, I would definitely look forward to reading the next part. And because this is a book about disease, which is caused by strong emotion, there are themes of grief and loss. There's also a lot of friendship and found family, as well as family, and the biggest part for me that I found really interesting was the idea that when Annie escapes, she finds her way into a wilderness area, and she discovers another way of living. And the point of that is that she's taught that emotions need to be expressed, that dealing with them, suppressing them with medication, I think, may not be the only way to help if you have issues with emotional well-being. And I just thought that was a nice kind of message. Also, the idea of nature helping to balance us and make us feel centered, that's quite a big theme within this book. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to the second book. It was really good. I think I'd recommend it for anyone aged 9 up. Anyone younger who might have a bit more maturity, or if a parent wants to read it with a slightly younger child, perhaps age 8 up, but 9 up. And I think it's got potential for being an excellent series. If you're a teacher, I think it would make a fantastic guided reading book, and I think it'd also make a really excellent book for studying English. It offers great opportunities for creative writing, and lots of really good opportunities to discuss the idea of emotions and the power of emotions to make us well physically and mentally, or to be to also, if we're not expressing them well enough or looking after our emotions well enough, how that can actually make us ill. So I thought that was quite a good opportunity for that to be discussed too. If you like this review and you'd like to come back for some more, why not consider subscribing? I have a whole playlist on middle grade reviews, and I'm trying to get back into doing those a bit more regularly. And if you like the sound of this book, what appeals to you, put a comment below. I love to hear from people, and hopefully I will see you again here soon. Bye.